Hi, I'm Matt Atchity, Editor-in-Chief, RottenTomatoes.com, here with another episode of the Wikia Fan versus Critic show. We are going to be talking about the latest episode of Game of Thrones, Season 4, Episode 4. And there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched it, you might want to wait to watch this discussion. But I'm going to be debating points of the latest episode with a user from the Wikia community, Greater Good, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, great to be on again.
Cool, and as we debate different points of the show, we each have one of these mute cards, which we can use to cut off the other person, and one of us will get 30 seconds to continue to talk and make our points. So with that said, let's get started on this latest episode, Oathbreaker. Quick recap starts out where we see some, we get Jaime, we get Tyrion. Jaime talks to Tyrion, finally goes and sees him in the prison cell where he's in. Among the things that happens on this episode, we get a very clear picture as to who killed Joffrey in episode 3. Greater Good, what did you think about that reveal?
I thought it was well done for the most part, really subtle. I liked her little finger revelation about hiding the poison in the necklace, and I particularly liked the scene of Olenna revealing that she in particular had poisoned Joffrey. Marjorie had always looked up to her, and I feel like after discovering that, her faith was shaken in her a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that was a good scene too. It was nice to have the show kind of spell out who really did it. I think in a way that the books haven't really spelled out specifically yet. Or if ever, if I remember correctly.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they've hinted at it, but I don't think they ever specifically said that it was that who it was here.
Some other good stuff that came up in this episode. I think that the storyline with Daenerys in Meereen was very interesting. One of the later scenes is you see her kind of serve up justice to the masters of Astapor after there's been the slave revolt, and there's a little bit of debate I think to be had about whether or not her sense of justice has gone too far.
Yeah, it certainly gives you mixed feelings. Like, yes, the masters did deserve that for their mistreatment of the slaves, but it does feel cruel at the same time, and it makes you wonder: is she turning into her father? Is she going to be the Mad Queen as he was the Mad King? That's
certainly the fear that we see cross the face of Sir Barristan when he pleads for mercy, and she says, "No, I'm going to answer with justice." And the next thing you see is all these guys getting nailed to these posts. I think that we're going to see, a very fierce ruler in upcoming episodes. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So one more question I want to bring up that's kind of a longer-term question across the whole series. George R.R. Martin has said in the past year or so that he was joyfully watching Breaking Bad and thought Walter White was one of the most evil characters ever to appear on television or in fiction. And then he said cryptically, I'm going to have to do something about that. Now, knowing he hasn't finished the books, there's some people who think that Martin is going to do something with Tyrion and turn Tyrion into a really evil character.
Yeah, I definitely think Tyrion might go off the handle as the series continues. I mean, he suffers abuse from his family and from pretty much everyone. So I think at some point that might become too much for him, and he might break out and seek revenge.
I'm going to have to tell you, I don't think that that's actually going to happen. I think that there's too much affection, not just with the fans for Tyrion, but I think that George R.R. Martin likes that character a lot. There's the way he's made that character more clever and kind of more sympathetic than anyone else. I would find it shocking for him to turn that character bad and make it someone that we would all despise. I just don't buy it.
Well, in fairness, he did like Ned and Robb Stark quite a lot, and he still killed them off, so I think anything's possible.
True. All right, well, that's it for this week's episode of Wikia's Critics versus Fans. Join us next week when we're going to be talking about episode 5. Can you believe we're already halfway through the season? Greater Good, I want to thank you for joining me today. He'll be joining us again next week. And make sure to check out all the latest info about Game of Thrones on Wikia, and you can check out the tomato meter scores for each episode on RottenTomatoes.com. Thanks for joining us.